pillars of dance ministry. They're the pillars that I personally put together that I feel are very important to keep a dance ministry afloat and to keep a dance ministry effective. So the pillars of dance ministry are connection, culture, and community. The 3 C's: connection, culture, and community. We have to understand before we get into dance ministry as being connection, culture, and community, we have to understand that dance ministry has the ability to reach, to teach, and to embrace. As far as reaching is concerned, it deals with getting the attention of people, whether bringing people in internally or externally. When I say bring people in internally, that's members joining your ministry. Externally is the people that we minister to. The dance ministry is also able to teach because it instructs in multiple facets within that ministry, and it also embraces by encouraging both internally and externally. So connection, what do I define as being connection per se? Connection is what is keeping the ministry together. This is a very important fact for dance ministry. Some things we have to consider is bonding. We have to bond. We have to have activities. We have to study together, and we have to be willing to pray together. It's more than just a dance sometimes, because when we focus on other things outside of the dance, it can allow the connection between the group to grow a little bit more. So connection, what is keeping the ministry together? It has to be more than just dance rehearsal. We have to plan things that actually fit our ministry. That's very, very important, to plan things that actually fit our ministry. Let me go back. So some examples of some things that I've done in the past within dance ministry. I've had Bible study that's specifically for the dance ministry I'm involved with. I've also had prayer acts. So what I call is prayer acts. One night I went to dance practice, and the Lord kind of told me that we need to focus on prayer that evening. So I've done things like that. I've also done dinners. I've done going shopping. Like, I've done different activities to make sure that we're bonding both spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. That's very important to have in and within your dance ministry. In this virtual world, you can still do the same thing. You can do different activities on Zoom. You can have a game night. You can have dinner together. That's possible to do on Zoom. You can have Bible study. You can just have prayer, but you have to have some type of connecting piece within your ministry. The next section I want to discuss is culture. What makes your ministry stand out? This past year, the Lord has kind of revealed to me that there's multiple of the same thing, right? I mean, we know that, like, there's multiple stores, there's multiple singers, there's multiple dancers. And I always try to figure out, we have so many multiples of the same thing, but there's a reason why we have multiples of the same thing. And we have to be mindful that our contribution to that same thing, which in our case will be dance, matters. So diversity matters, and techniques and practices matter within ministry, because everybody's ministry is relevant. This ministry at this church is relevant. The ministry at your church is relevant. And we have to keep those things in mind. So culture is what makes your ministry stand out. Every ministry should have their own flavor. Every ministry should have their own flavor. Well, I call it flavor. So when I say flavor, I'm saying like their differences, or something that makes them creative, or something that makes them, I guess you could say diverse or unique, I should say. So flavors include, who do you attract? How do you run your practices or rehearsals? The attire you decide to wear, and the technique and style you decide to do. So when we speak on who they attract, which is what does your ministry attract? Your ministry, regardless of it all, should attract everyone. So all generations should be attracted to your ministry. Our dance ministries in particular should be generational, 100% multi-generational in some shape or form, because if it's not, the ministry is not going to last. We have to make sure that the ministry is multi-generational. What do I mean by order of rehearsals? Organization is key. So what does your ministry do at rehearsals? So I've been in rehearsals where, that ministry has an affirmation that they say at the end of rehearsal, or that ministry has an affirmation that they say at the beginning of rehearsal. That ministry stretches first. That ministry may have improv time or quiet time within rehearsal. You have to have something in your rehearsal that makes your ministry stand out, something that brings the culture. Attire, we just have to be mindful that modesty is key. Whatever modesty is to you, I'm not going to discuss what that is, but whatever modesty is to you, we have to be mindful of that. Because of course, different ministries wear different things, and that's fine. It's okay to wear different things, but modesty is key, because some ministries wear one thing. Some ministry might like dresses. Some ministries might like palazzo pants. It just depends on your flavor of what you want to do. And technique and style is a very important flavor to your ministry, in my opinion, because we have to understand that dance is a sport. Dance is 100% a sport. We have to be willing to continue to grow and learn daily the different styles of dance in order to apply them in our ministry. Some people have never been in a ballet class. Some people have never been in a jazz class. Some people have never been in contemporary class, improv class, but those aspects are important for dance. They're important for training. They're important, most importantly, for your body and for your health, because dance ministry is about worship, but it's also about the body, health, abilities, and preventing injury. Some people get nervous when they hear, take ballet or take jazz or take contemporary. Like, they get nervous when they have to go from being, I guess, in regular dance ministry, because sometimes that's when you first get involved in dance. It's just joining the dance ministry. But we have to be willing to apply styles from the dance styles or the dance genres that we have available. That's very important. I'm not saying the whole ministry needs to do it, but I believe that you should have someone in your ministry that is taking class or that has taken class. That's very important, because like I said, dance is a sport. We can hurt ourselves. We need to understand the muscles we're using. We need to understand how to stretch. We need to understand how to use cardio. We need to know how to exercise. Yes, it's worship. It's a very key part of worship, but we still have to prevent anything bad from happening to our bodies because we're moving them so much. So technique and style is very, very important. It's very, very important. And I think in some cases we've gotten away from that, and we don't think that we need to learn anything outside the four walls of the church, but we do need to learn things outside the four walls of the church. I have, and it hasn't changed me one bit. It's made me grow. It made me look at dance a little bit differently. It has allowed me to be a little bit more creative, but it really has taught me about my body, and we have to be mindful of those things. So community, this is the last C. What is your ministry giving? We have to consider outreach and collaborations. Outreach and collaborations are important for ministry. It's 100% important for your dance ministry to have outreach and collaborations. So what is your ministry giving? The goal is to go beyond the four walls of your church. Your church is the house. That's where you are. That's where you come together at. But you need to have a goal to go beyond the four walls of the church. You should be willing to also collaborate with other ministries within and outside of your church, whether that includes doing other dance programs somewhere, whether that includes doing some outreach somewhere. You also have to be willing to donate. What kind of donations can you do? What kind of charities can you do? Your ministry, yes, should focus on dance, but your ministry should serve as a ministry in different capacities as well. We still have to realize that we're still servants, we're still disciples, we're still growing, we're still going. We're just a part of the dance ministry. But since you are in the dance ministry, make sure your dance ministry is still, I guess I could say, still forcing or still pushing the Great Commissions, which is go ye therefore. That's still important. Although this is a small entity of the church, that's still the mission of any disciple. That's still the mission of any believer. So outreach is very important. Community is very important, even if it's community within your ministry. Maybe someone in your ministry is struggling and everybody wants to come together and give them a love offering. That's still community. That's still giving. Maybe your ministry sees a lack in an area somewhere and they want to contribute to that. That's still giving. That's still doing ministry. But we still have to remember that's important within church. And collaborating is so, so important. Everybody wants to act like their ministry is the only thing that they should worry about. And they call it staying in my lane, which is fine. But if we never learn how to collaborate, how are we going to grow and how are we going to know how to work with other people? How are we going to know that everything that we do in the church goes together as a puzzle, as something that works together? We have to be willing to understand that. We have to be willing to do that within the church. So items discussed today can be established virtually and of course in person, but definitely can be established virtually. But the goal is to just start something. Connection, culture, and community is very important within your ministry, however that looks like. It doesn't have to be elaborate. It doesn't have to be really detailed, but something needs to be put into place. Something needs to be constantly there for your ministry to grow and go in the way for which God has for it. He has given us the opportunity to have this talent of dance. Now we need to actually put it into action, but still do the things that we're called to do as believers of Jesus Christ. So dance ministry is more than just a dance. It's the effect we have on everyone we touch. It's more than just a dance. It's the effect that we have on everyone that we have the ability to touch. So we have to keep that in mind and we have to be willing to take that away with us.